All right, look, I know he did you dirty and you want to go off on him and you want to cuss him out, rightfully so. But before you do that, please just listen to this podcast episode. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I am your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast we talk all things dating and relationships in this modern day. And if you are new here, hi, I'm Gabby. I'm an online dating coach where I help you transform your confidence to live your best lives inside and outside of relationships. It all starts from within. So if you're not feeling right from within, you're gonna attract some bullshit in your love life, which kind of brings me full circle. I'm just gonna actually stop there because, first of all, if you have any questions, if you're curious about dating coaching, matchmaking, please hit the stand link in my bio. But we're just gonna hop right into it because I have a lot to say today. I am currently in the headspace right now where I'm super jaded. The thought of a man coming into my life right now, I'm just irritated and I don't want any bits of it. Like deep down, I really do. And I think it's kind of stressing me out in a way because I'm like, yes, I do want this. But then I'm also trying to get over and get closure from my last situation that just happened, that I'm just like annoyed with the thought of men. And if you're in this space, I just want to walk you through, I guess, more so spilling the tea, but then also how I'm getting through this bit of the state that I'm currently in, because I think a lot of us get into this phase where we're so fucking tired. We keep talking to these people, we think it's gonna go somewhere, and then all of a sudden something happens. I could have done without. Thank you so much. I am good here, and thank you for wasting my time. As irritating as this is, I just want to walk through how to get yourself out of this funk. Okay, but before we do, I'm spilling the tea. I've been talking to this guy for the past month. Everything was going fine. Like, it was going good. It was going fine. There was some things. This is really an outlet for me. Like, this morning was texting my friend. I'm 8 hours ahead of her. So basically she's sleeping and I'm texting her as thoughts are coming up. Like, oh, one more thing. Okay, fuck it. I'm over it. I'm not over it. I just want you to know that, like, I go through this shit too. It's okay, but it's how you handle it and how you move forward that's gonna really make the difference of moving forward and how you're attracting your next best thing. And maybe giving you a little peace that, like, you're not in this alone. You're not struggling alone. I'm also like, I literally cannot do this at the moment. But talking to this guy for the past month, he's been super busy with work, with his businesses, whatever. And I'm like super understanding about that. Cool, you do you, figure out what you need to. I'm here. Let's do something when you have time. If a guy really wants you in his life, he's going to show up and he's going to make the plans and he's going to follow through on those plans. He's going to be a man of his word. But this guy a couple times said things that we were going to do and then never really followed through. So I'm like, okay, he's all talk. Like, and I was already getting a little irritated with him making plans and then not following through. So that really should have been my sign to walk away. But my final straw was he had to go back to the UK for a business trip. And I was like, cool, whatever. I'll see you when you get back. By the time he gets back, everything should be settled in his life where he'll have a little bit more time for me. I woke up one morning and I just felt this like gut-wrenching feeling like something was off. Trust your gut, ladies, because you know when things are off. Something immediately in my head, and I've never done this before, by the way, toxic little trip. If you've matched with them on Hinge, if they're going on like vacation or if they're leaving, checking their location when they leave. I'm not proud of this, but I checked his Hinge location and he updated it to the UK. And I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay, let me just take you on a little rewind on date number 1 with us. And he's like, Gabby, I would be absolutely gutted if you were to date anyone, if you were to talk to anyone else. And I have multiple videos online that he's seen where I'm saying, like, keep your options open in the beginning. And this tells me that I am right about the things that I'm preaching about. Keep your options open in the beginning. The date number 1, I was like, okay, fine, like, whatever. If you really like someone, naturally, the other options just don't really matter that much. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'm actually super fucking busy in Dubai. My schedule is very hectic. I actually don't have time to be dating multiple people. And the time that we do have to make our schedules match, I'm like, fine. If that's the case, then we don't need to be dating anyone else. We had that conversation about, okay, I'm only dating you, you're only dating me. Cool. And it was okay, and that's what we're doing. But date number one, I just feel like that shouldn't even be a thing. I don't know where my head was at. I was in fucking La La Land. Moving forward, I'm definitely keeping my options open, because this just proved to me that you should keep your options open, because you never really fully know where someone's at. Even if they're saying, yeah, it's only you, trust what their actions are telling you. He was super busy all the time. Okay, busy. Like, if you can't even follow through on a plan that you've made with me, that's a red flag. And it's a consistent thing that keeps happening, on top of saying that you have no time, saying that you're super busy, seeing me when it's convenient for you. As you can tell, I'm a little jaded still about the situation, but I feel like this is like giving me like a little bit of peace, even just talking about it on this podcast. At the moment that I saw that he put his Hinge location in a different location, it really was such a slap in the face, because I'm like, you're telling me time and time again that this is it. You don't want to share, you don't want to keep your options open, whatever, but then you moved your Hinge location to be dating girls in that area, or to be doing whatever the fuck you're doing in that area. If you really don't have time, and you barely have time for us, why are you adding more to your plate, and why do you keep dating around? It's, at the end of the day, you have to believe their actions as opposed to what they're telling you, because their actions are going to tell you so much more. Yes, okay, he's busy with work, he's busy with everything. Everyone's fucking busy, but the people that actually want to prioritize you in their lives will make that happen. Do you know what his priorities actually were? It was the gym, his friends, and his business, and that's all. Realistically, if I were to just see things for what they are instead of trying to be understanding about the situation, I think I probably would have ended it a lot quicker. He's in a really busy time in his life, because he's opening up a new business, and he's doing this and he's doing that. He has a billion things going on. So I'm trying to be understanding, but at the same time, I'm like, at what point is the walk away point, right? But this, to me, putting the Hinge location, that was my final straw, because if you are that busy, truly, you don't have time to be checking the apps. Like, you don't have time to be dating around, and the time that you do have should be, if you are really serious about me, should be investing back into me. That's just my thought. Clearly, I wasn't a priority in his life, and that's fine. I just wish I kind of listened to that feeling that I was having prior to. I saw this on his phone, and I'm like, okay, instead of being super reactive, because I think a lot of girls nowadays are just reactive. Some people just don't have control over their emotions, and I think that's like a huge part of the respect that you're going to get back from someone, is if you are in control over your emotions, you're going to have much better success in life in general, as opposed to people who are super reactive. You're not going to get a good response back, because you don't know how to control your emotions. Here I am, I'm sitting in my car at this point. Check his location. Calm, cool, collected. I'm hurt right now. I'm very upset about this. And what do I want to do? How do I want to move forward from this? Let me weigh my options. Let me see all the options. So when you're in this like reactive state, what are the options that you have? I can either block him right away and just be done with it. I can completely just back off, not say anything, just ghost and move on with my life. Or I can try to talk about it and try to understand where he's coming from, or go off on him is the other option. The option of talking it out, I don't really think was an option, because I have tried more than once to talk to him about things that had been bothering me, or just like things that kind of annoyed me, small things, and he didn't fix it. Just went about his day. Okay, yeah, we'll change it. We're good. I hear you. But didn't actually take the action steps to make it better. If I were to speak up about this, one, is he really going to be understanding, because he knows that he's done this wrong? Want to change? No, because he's showing me that I've not been a priority in his life. So it's not going to change anything. That's off the table. I think if you're with someone who's actually reasonable, and someone who is making necessary changes and is able to want to hear you out, actively wanting to be with you, I think that's completely different. And if this were the case, then fine, talk it out. But it's not going to get to the point of going off on someone. I think that's way too reactive. I saw this TikTok video of like, oh, cuss them out because you're going to feel better about it. But in reality, do you really want to end up being the girl, one crazy girl that he talked to, as opposed to a girl that he like can't get off his mind because she like completely just backed off, and now he's like, what just happened there? I don't know what happened. That's such a sweet revenge, as opposed to, oh, this is a crazy girl, I dodged a bullet, because that's all he's going to be thinking when you're reactive. But if you ghost, or if you just completely back off, block him, I think that to me, the only option moving forward. You showed your true colors. I see how you move. Clearly, I'm not a priority in your life and you don't really care that much. The right guy is not going to put himself in a position to lose me. This just shows me everything that I need to see. Realistically, this was never it from the start, and I should have probably listened to a thing or two of my own videos. Sometimes you have to see things through, and I just think that was the last sign that I needed to really just walk away. And I think when you know your worth, you know when a good time is to walk away. I've thought so many times, like, should I just reach out? Should I just say something? Because here's the thing, is that I don't like ending things on bad terms with anyone. Like, I just want to keep peace. If we're not in each other's lives, then fine. It is what it is. That doesn't mean that we can't just send each other love and move on with our lives. Okay, this wasn't it. We're moving on. I just don't want to have hate in my heart moving forward. If you think that you can find better elsewhere, then by all means, go find better elsewhere. I want to do what's right for myself too. And I want to find someone who's excited about me, that wants me, that only chooses me. As much as this is gonna hurt, I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off, and I hit the block. And immediately I just felt like, and then another thing that I was weighing out was, if I don't block him and I just ghost him, seeing his name pop up on my phone, I'm actually going to get anxiety and my whole guard is going to come down. I'd rather just completely rip the Band-Aid off and block. But here's the thing. Sometimes I do feel like talking it out, for me anyway, does work. And maybe it's not in the heat of the moment. Maybe it's months later. I had a guy that I was talking to in London for a couple of months that kind of ghosted me, I guess, in a way. Months later, like when I got to Dubai, something in my soul was just like, let me just reach out to this guy. I reached out. We had like a 3-hour conversation, and it was nothing but like love for each other and peace, and like we had such a good time together. Something in me was just like, I can put this to rest now. Like, I am good here. I've moved on. Life is good. There's no hate between us. I can move on without having the resentment towards him. So sometimes I do think a conversation is necessary. And if you feel like you need to have a conversation, if that person isn't open to it, then they're not open to it, right? But if they're open to it, then why not just put some peace into the relationship? Here I am. I don't think anytime soon I'll be having a conversation with this guy, but I am in a phase right now where I'm like, I'm just annoyed with guys. Like, I met this guy this weekend, and he's super great, super sweet, super wholesome, like everything, like ticks a lot of boxes. He wanted to go on a date last night, and I genuinely was like, I really have so much like hate on my heart. I don't want to go into this with this type of energy. So I canceled on him. I feel like I need to like heal myself from this. Walking you through my healing process too, moving on and moving forward, because I can't keep moving forward with this on my heart. It feels very heavy. Last night, I wrote down everything that I would want to say to him that I'm not going to, but everything on a little notes app or whatever, wherever you want to store it. And I felt so much better afterwards, because all of the thoughts that were circulating on my mind were all written down on paper. At least it's on paper as opposed to scrambling around in my brain. Now that those thoughts are gone, the need to reclaim my energy, move forward, because I've already accepted the fact that this isn't my person. And every time you swoop back in and you're like, oh my God, but like I miss them and blah, 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 remind yourself that you only miss having someone there. You only miss the times that you spent together, the good times that you guys had. But realistically, if this person was really meant to be in your life, they would show up for you. They would make it happen. You guys would come together. It will happen if it's supposed to happen. Reminding yourself every time you get into these irritating thoughts, maybe we can make this work. It was nice when I had it, but when we weren't together, I was always wondering, when am I going to see him next? My love language is quality time. So if I don't have any time with you, I kind of feel forgotten. And I'm not saying that I need every single second of your time at all by any means. I'm very understanding and I'm very busy myself. He wasn't my person. At the end of the day, we had a really great time together. I miss waking up to a good morning text. I miss having someone to turn to talk about things. I miss just having someone there, but in reality, he wasn't actually really there. I have to keep reminding myself that. And if you're dealing with something similar, just remind yourself all the times they didn't make you feel good, and all of the times where you were anxious about the relationship, or all the times where you felt like you weren't enough, the things that annoyed you about them. Your husband would never do those things. Your husband would make you a priority. Your husband, I say this all the time, like my husband would actually never make me question when I'm gonna see him again. My husband would be excited to see me. So if you're not getting that, keep reminding yourself, okay, yes, thank you for the times. Thank you for the times we had together. They were great. But I'm accepting that that's not my person, and whatever's meant for me will come on when the time is right. And then send them love is tough. There's like that spite in the back of your mind where you're like, they had the best that they're ever gonna have, and they fucked it up. They fumbled the bag. Yeah, okay, they did. He did. If I wasn't right for him, or if the timing wasn't right, or whatever wasn't right, then fine. I wish you the best in where you're going on your journey, and I wish the best for me as well. Because when you send hate and you feel all this resentment, the only people that you're going to be attracting in your lives are going to be shit people. And I've noticed that. Immediately I was like, fine, fuck it, I'm going back on the apps, right? And I get up back on the apps. Every single guy that I was attracting on the apps was this major douche kebab. Like, I'm like, what is going on? Is this all that's out there? I'm getting scared. And then I realize I'm like going into it with the wrong mindset. I think when you're so caught up and you're so frustrated with dating, you need to take the step back for yourself. You're not going to be attracting the right things, and it's only going to make you more frustrated. It's going to make you feel like you're hitting your head against the wall, when in actuality, you just need to take a step back, put the apps down, heal yourself a little bit, take some time away from men, take some time away from dating, just relax, become yourself again in a good energy, because you're going to start attracting much better people. Dating's actually going to be fun, and you're not going to feel like you're forcing the pieces together, forcing dates to happen, forcing people to hang out with you. It's not going to feel like that. Everything is going to naturally flow into your life. But with that being said, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't just ramble on about my life this entire time, but I'm just kind of going through it right now. And also, this made me feel so much better. I already feel like I'm ready for a date tonight. I'm just kidding. I feel like talk about it with your friends as much as possible. Talk about it with your people. Get it out there. Write it down. Do whatever you got to do. Get it out of your system and back into a peaceful place. And then when you're ready, put yourself back out there. We'll talk again next Tuesday.